So what do we know about this Indo-European language, spoken 5,000 years ago, from which all major European languages derive? Okay, of course, the Indo-Europeans did not leave any written record, okay, but we may be able to reconstruct the language, and we have a pretty good grasp today what the language was. There are even people, I mean, you can study Indo-Europeanism, or Indo-Europeanistic. You have grammars today, whole vocabularies, whatever. I mean, yes, it's very well reconstructed. So how do we do that? The same as we do in evolutionary biology, okay? You look at the species we have today, see they are related, okay, and then try to reconstruct what the common ancestor may have looked like from the ones you see today. I mean, here you see it for horses or for dogs, okay, even though the sort of Urhorse, which all horses derive from, say, zebras, donkeys, and modern horses, has become extinct. Okay, we may derive from the similarities between a zebra, a donkey, and a horse what this common ancestor may have looked like. Okay, and we can do this with language as well. Okay, just looking at the various words for one concept we have in all major European languages, and then try to reconstruct what the Urwort may have sounded like. Okay, let's try. Here it is done for the word hundred, okay, which has evolved very much in all the various languages, okay, but all going back to a common Indo-European root. I mean, you may look at that, okay. On the left-hand side, you have English, hundred, German, hundert, hundre, Norwegian, and so on. Then you go down to probably the Romance languages here, and you see Kentum, okay, noch hundert, probably hundred, hundreds, not, okay. Later on simplifies to a mere aspiration. But we come to that. So they have a k, okay, and then there are various languages here which have an s, okay, where s, well, hundred begins with a s, store and something like this. From all this, okay, we may derive a common ancestor for this word hundred, which is right in the middle, something like kmtom, kmtom, or probably second syllable says km, syllabic kmtom, okay, in Proto-Indo-European, okay, and this has been done for various words and sounds and so on. Okay, but what you see also here, and this is why I chose this example, is that there seem to be languages where this sort of kmtom, where the first consonant has evolved into an s, or has evolved or has stayed k. And if you like, is just an offshot of k. So hundred and so on, they belong to km. And according to that, we distinguish still today between Kentum and Zatem languages. Kentum and Zatem, which means those languages which have where the initial consonant k of Indo-European was turned into a fricative s, or where it remained k, and only in Germanic languages later on changing to ch, but we come to that. And here, particularly today, Romance languages and Germanic languages of the major families, they are Kentum languages, okay, and the Slavic or Slavonic and Baltic languages and so on, including the Asian languages, they are Iranian. Now this Tocharian here, the blue you see, is a language which has left some records, okay, but has died out, okay. It's just for completion here. So yes, Kentum and Zatem languages, okay, that's the major distinction. I just want to zoom into it by comparing a very common word, okay, in Romance languages, including Greek. Yeah, I include Greek many times because Latin and Greek are still very ancient, and they preserve more or less the similar sounds from Indo-European. Okay, anyway, if you look at that, so you have here the, on the left-hand side, some Romance languages and Greek, yeah, cardia, cors, cœur, corazon, okay, for the heart. And then you see in Germanic languages, including English and Danish and what have you, it's heart, Herz, Härte. And as I said before, it goes back to a yeah, Hart. Yeah, okay. But both of them Kentum languages. And from there you can reconstruct an Indo-European word, if you like, Kert, okay, where it derives from. And once again, what I've said here, ancient Greek, I will use a lot of Latin and ancient Greek, because Latin and ancient Greek, they preserve the Indo-European sounds much more than other languages. They're the oldest recorded languages which preserve that. Okay, and since they are so old and recorded, we usually, when we compare, go back to Latin and to some extent to Greek, and then you will see where the correspondences are. Yeah? And it has another advantage that I do Germanic and Romance here, because you know that, of course, Romance languages later on, French and Latin to some extent, have the major influence on English. Okay? Oh yes. So it makes sense, to start here and taking a closer look at Romance languages, those deriving from Latin, and Germanic languages, those deriving from Proto-Germanic, which needs reconstruction as well, of course, because Proto-Germanic was not written down. Well, probably spoken something like 3,000 years ago. No, don't have any records here. Okay. And the division, between Indo-European and the Germanic languages is that thing here, Grimm's law, also called the first consonant shift, because there's a second one later on in German. But we come to that much later. Okay, Grimm's law. Grimm's law responsible once again, for the split between Indo-European and Germanic. Okay. However, I repeat myself, okay, since we don't have Indo-European, we compare it with Latin, because Latin is still very close to Indo-European, and Latin, since it is not a Germanic language, has no Grimm's law, and neither have French, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian, and the others. Okay? So, you will be pestered with a lot of Latin words, okay, some French, Italian, and so on, okay, and then see the correspondence of these words in Germanic. Clear why I'm doing this? I hope. Okay, so Grimm's law, and the first part of Grimm's law is between Indo-European and Germanic, okay, this happened. Grimm's law, that Indo-European P was turned into a F, Indo-European T into the interdental fricative F, and Indo-European K into H, and then ultimately H. Okay, so it's a lenition. It's a lenition, which means the sounds are softer, because if you turn voiceless plosives, and these are the voiceless plosives, into fricatives, okay, this is a so-called lenition. Okay, this is what happened. And I would like to show you this for P turning into F. And if you look at these words here, Latin, okay, and then English, and to some extent German, for completion's sake, in brackets. And take the Latin word piscis, okay, meaning fish, and there you see it, yeah, P, Latin, and Indo-European as well, of course, which I don't need now, into F, okay, and pater, father, or vater in English, okay, which gave us, by the way, Jupiter, right? Jupiter in English, okay, Jupiter, which means nothing but Deus Pater, God, Father, okay, very ancient, very Indo-European, Jupiter, okay, God, Father, well, he's the highest of the gods, okay, or Latin pedem, yeah, I have the oblique case here, that makes sense from time to time, into foot, okay, or foot in modern English, okay, fous today. Another one, neposp, okay, p into nephew, or nephew. I like the voiced fricative more. Yeah, you can say nephew or nephew today, both is possible. German, neffe, yeah, you see p, f, okay. And for completion's sake, one example from the Greek language, okay, pur, which is a word you may know, yeah, a pyromaniac, something like this, okay, pur meaning fire, okay, and you have exactly that in modern English, pur, and you see the correspondence here, fire, okay, German, fire. What you please do is, if we will go on in the next installment with these examples here, forget to the major extent, yeah, forget about the vowels, okay? We are looking at the consonants because vowels are so volatile, okay? You know that from phonology. I mean, vowels may be changed ad libitum because a vowel is not fixed in the mouth, okay? If you say or ah, yeah, the tongue moves, but you still can recognize it. So vowels tend to change a lot more. But if you change p and just put your lip a bit back, you arrive at f, okay? It's a completely different sound. So yes, in consonants, okay, the tongue and the mouth is particularly fixed, and if you do something else, another sound may come out. If you do that with vowels, they may still be recognizable. So if you say ah or ah, okay, two different vowel sounds, but still recognizable. And this means vowels are much more volatile, okay, than consonants are. Okay, so this is for P. We will now go on in the next installment, okay, for P, for T, for K, and then see, yeah, how the Indo-European sounds preserved in Latin and, of course, in other Romance languages, okay, think of French, yeah, piscine, okay, or père, okay, for pater, okay, still preserved in Latin and other Romance languages, in Germanic languages not. This is Grimm's law, and we'll take it from here.